This conference will now be recorded.
Yeah. So am I audible now, guys?
Audible.
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. So let's create a data type. Okay. So go to the data types explorer. So this, right? So this is explorer bar. Okay. So go to the data type. So click on create a new data type. Okay. Add data type. Okay. So here we are going to create a data type called customer details. Okay. And so if we expand advanced tab, so you will see, so here we can create a data type from the organization level class or implementation level class. So by default, so it will take implementation level data class. And so this will be our data class and with customer details. So now if you create a data class under organization level, and this can be used across the organization. Okay, so this is
But this
organization
also shows
data class.
work dash class.
No, so let me explain it first. Okay, so so this is implementation data class, and so here organization data class. Either you can create by selecting this or by selecting implementation data class. So by default you see this. Okay, so if you have multiple divisions and and if you want to use the data class across the organization, that can be created under organization level. Okay, but so here, so we'll be using it for only implementation, so we can select the default one, right? And so this is going to be added into the PNC loans rule set. Okay, and this is not associated with versions. There are some rules which are associated with only rule set but not version, right? So now let's submit it. And this will be the class name PNC loans data customer details. And so far we seen a class can be is a class group, or so if we create any class which belongs to the class group, that will become a belongs to class group. Okay, and other than that, if it is not a class group, or if it is not belongs to the class group, it will become a does not belongs to a class group. So now, so if you look at the data class, okay, so right click on this and it is a concrete class, because by using this class we are going to create the instances. Okay, and it is a does not belongs to a class group. And so this is the parent class. And see now, so the data classes always inherit from data dash top level class. So work class must be inherited from work dash or its subclasses, right? Similarly, all the data classes must be inherited from data dash or its subclasses. Clear? So now, so what will be the next class if you click here? Yes, at the rate base.
At the base.
Yeah, it is top level class. Okay, so now, so if it is a concrete class, it will have a table connected or not?
It's going to be
Yes, right.
connected.
So there will be some
Yes,
table
yes.
connected. So before that, so we need to create some properties, and if it is required, so we need to enter the data. Okay, so this is the customer details class, and so we are going to create some properties like customer ID, the customer name, etc. Okay, so as soon as you create a data class, and you will see this rule form, and so here you can create the properties. This is like a wizard. Okay, you can create multiple properties here, or else so go to the class data model property, so you can create one after one, right? So let's add a field.
I have one question.
Okay,
So already we have created one form kind of thing, right? Why should we create in the data dash class also, like data class also?
yeah, so that's what, like so let's say if we want to enter some data, so the next class we'll be working on dynamic cascading. So when we select the country, it has to display the corresponding states and cities, right? So for that, so we need to have the data in the database, and we need to retrieve, and we need to display on the user interface. So I told you, right? So there will be two ways, like one is from UI to database, and another is from database to UI. Okay, so now here, so we are directly creating data class, and it will be act like a reference data. And if you want to fetch to the user interface, you can fetch it. Otherwise, it's not like. Okay.
Oh, it's just like temporary storage, like clipboard.
No, it is not a temporary storage. So that's what, like, so when we enter the data, it will be stored in the database permanently, and we use this data as part of the case processing. Okay. So let's say, so you have list of employees available in database, and so one of the employees applying for the leave request. So when that employee open the application, that employee information will be seen on the user interface, right? That means that data is coming from the database. That is not a temporary data. Okay. So when you log into the application, or when you open it, so you will have a unique ID that will be passed as a parameter to the database table to fetch the corresponding information. So when you log into the application, somebody will data will not come, right? Okay. So all those employee information will be stored in database. Similarly, we store the customer information, and if you want, we will fetch into the user interface. Okay. Now let's create a property called customer name.
Satya, sorry to interrupt. It means like as a whenever we are going to be utilize this, so we have to fetch it from there. Is that meaning?
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly right.
Okay.
So we are creating some properties. Okay. And let's create one more property called age, and this will be a integer. Okay. So now, and what will be the primary key here? Yeah, so go to the sources. Yeah, so customer ID will be a primary key. So create a local source. And when you create a local source and select the primary key, a table will be created. So now, so let's select customer ID as key. Okay. So, and you see some are, some properties like, px create date, time, operator. So these are read-only properties. So you cannot edit these properties. Okay, so generally we call it who columns, right? Like who created, who modified, like that. Okay, and submit it. Okay, So we have submitted it. So we are not going to enter the data now. So if we enter the data, that will be stored in the database. So now what we do is, so we store that data through some other. Okay. So now, so if we come to this class and click on test connection, and you will see the dedicated table. So PR underscore PNC underscore PNC loans underscore data, something like that. Okay. So now go to the database and query this table. So you will see the data if you enter here. Okay. So now, so our requirement is, so we need to store the data into this class dynamically. Okay. So not like manually entering the data. So in order to do that, so we have a rule called activity. Okay. So now, so whenever you execute a flow, so for example, let me run customer details flow here. And so work object ID is getting generated automatically. And so that data is getting posted to the PY workpage of the clipboard, right? So here the PY workpage is getting created by some internal rule, some PRPC rule that is called activity. Okay, so let me write down here. So this is very important, you need to understand. So whatever the data we enter, okay, so that will be available on PY workpage. And on the PY workpage, you see all the properties like first name, last name, and associated data, etc. Right? So and same data will be stored in the database table as a single record. So one page is equivalent to one record. So what is that table? PC underscore work. Okay. And so the same fields you will have like same properties along with PYID. So PYID is the primary key of work class. So now, so here the PY workpage is getting created through activity, and and the method is page new. Okay, so here, so we use the activities to automate the business process through its methods. Okay, so just let me open the activity rule form here. Okay, if you want to create a new activity, so we need to go to the technical category and create an activity. Okay, activity is part of technical category. Okay, so it is completely alternative to the programming. So whatever we achieve through programming, traditional programming, same thing can be achieved by this rule. Okay. And so inside the activities, so we have some methods, and they provided the business functionality in the form of methods. Okay, so if you so in the method drop down, so we see lot of almost you see 110 different methods. Okay, but in the real-time applications mostly we use 20 to 30 methods max. Okay, so we need to know about these methods. Okay, so what it does and where we need to use exactly and all. Okay, and you can put you can create multiple steps, and in each step you can call only one method, and these steps will be executed in the sequence. Okay, so so how you write the programming, so based on the, so if you write the programming, that will be executed in the step-by-step manner, right? In the similar way, so this will be executed step by step. And sometimes based on the requirement directly, we can alter the sequences, like we can jump from one step to later step. And if you don't want to execute uh, the middle steps based on the requirement. Clear? So now, so the question is, so when we execute a flow, so py workpage is getting created automatically, right? So we haven't created that. So that means behind that we have a activity, you know, inside the activity we have a method called page new that is creating a py workpage. Okay. So now see, so here we have a method called page new, so which can create a new page on the clipboard. Okay. So so put heading activity. In the bracket, you can put rule obj activity. So activities are instances of the class rule dash obj dash activity. Okay. So activity automates the business processing. Write down the definition. So activity automates the business processing through its methods. Through its predefined methods. Okay. So now, so we will discuss, some basic methods today, and we'll work on some scenarios. Okay. Put heading activity methods and write down page new. Activity methods. So page new is used to create a new page on the clipboard. Okay. So if you want to create a new page and if you want to, so if you want to create a new page on the clipboard, so you must need to use page new method. Okay. So now, so here under the page you see the property, right? Properties like on the page. So we have a properties and associated data. So how it is happening is this, assigning the values to the properties is happening through a method called property set. Okay, so these are values and these are properties. So this is assigning the values to the properties. So this is handled by PRPC with the method property set. Okay, so here we have a method called property set. Okay, this is used to assign the values to the properties. Okay, so if we expand the property set, so in the right side we have property value and left side properties name. So here you will be putting the property name and here the value. Okay, so put it in property set. So property set is used to assign the values to the properties. Okay. So now, and the same data is getting stored in the database, right? So that we have seen already. Okay. So that is happening through a method called obj save. So we have a data available on a page on the clipboard, and that is temporary data, right? So if you want to save into the database permanently, so you need to use the method called obj save. Okay. obj-save, put it in. So obj save is used to insert or update a new record into the database.
is the key ID to fetch this data?
So we are not fetching now. Okay. So first, what we do is, so we are going to, insert the data into the database table. So later we will fetch it. So now clear about these three steps. So this is happening internally when it comes to the work object saving. Okay. So when we execute a flow, the PY work page is getting created automatically, and and whatever the data we enter on the user interface, that is mapping on the same page and getting stored into the database table. Okay. So now, so we have a data class, and so we need to store some data into that class. Okay. So if you want to do that, so what we need to do is, first we need to define a page by referring to that particular class. Okay. So we have a data class and we need to store some data, right? So first we need to define a page by referring to that class under the page and classes. Okay. So guys, put on mute if you're not speaking. So I'm getting a lot of disturbance. Clear? The step one is we need to define a page by referring to the class. Okay. So let's, we are creating an activity called save customer details or insert customer details. Okay. So you can define whatever page you want. Let's say I'm specifying a page called customer details by referring to the class which we are using, that is pnc-loans-data-customer details. This is a mandatory. Now the second step is, so whatever the page we define, that we need to create on the clipboard. Okay. So what is the method we have to create a new page? Page new, right? So now go to the steps, use the page new, and the step page is reference to the clipboard. So whatever the pages we define here, page and classes, that will be available under the drop down, and we need to select that. And we see some predefined pages, so we'll be discussing about that later. Okay. So when this executes, what will happen is, so it will create a one blank page on the clipboard without any data. So now we need to assign some data to this class properties. Okay. So this is, this page is referring to this data class, and now so we will be able to use all the properties through its page reference. Clear? So add one more step, use the property set. Okay, step page the same, and now so we'll be able to use all the properties of this page related class. So this page related class means that customer details data class. Okay. So customer ID. So you just, you need to put the space and click on down arrow, you will see, or if you click on dot, you will see the properties. Okay. That means customer details dot customer ID. So you cannot just put customer ID. Okay. And if you want to use, properties from PY work page, and we need to use like, PY work page dot first name, PY work page dot last name, like that. Through page reference, we'll be able to use those properties. Okay. So now customer ID. So we can set some value.
Sorry, Satya. It means like as a this dot is calling from the property from the class.
Exactly.
Okay.
Okay. So you cannot put like this. It will not work if you put just customer ID. Okay. because let's say, you know, we have a page, under the pages we can have, you know, again multiple pages. Okay, and so, you know, you can use, you know, those properties through dot reference only. Okay, and the value. So here we are going to execute this activity alone, individually. So, you know, but everything should be part of the flow, right? So later, like, you know, we capture the values dynamically. So now, so what you need to understand from this activity is you need to know about the methods and you need to see how it works. Okay, so now here I am hard coding the values. Let's say it is, since it is a string, I'm putting the double quotes. Okay, this will be the key. And so we have a customer name and assigning some name. So just what we are doing here, we are assigning the values to the properties. Clear? Through property set method. And we have a email. So order can be anything here. And for age, so you don't need to put in double quotes. It is a integer, right? Okay. So now, so after executing this step, so what will happen is, on the clipboard, you will see the customer details page. On the page, you will see these properties. It is similar to PY workpage. You compare with that one. Okay. So on the PY workpage, we have a property. Similarly, on the customer details, you see customer ID, customer name, etc. So now we need to save these details into the customer details data class. So for that, what is the method we have? Obj save or obj save, we call it. Okay. So in the third step, so add one more step and use obj save. And so we are saving this customer details page. So page is nothing but one instance, one record. Okay. And if we expand the obj save, so if you are using this activity in the flow, so we don't need to select the right now option. Now, since we are executing this activity alone, so we need to select this. Okay, we'll be discussing more about this step later. Right now. So if we are not selecting this right now option and if we execute this activity, so the data will not be saved. Okay, clear?
To commit option.
Sorry.
Right now option.
Yes. So now we have selected it because we are executing this activity alone individually. Okay. So if it is part of the flow, so we don't need that, because so, you know, when processing the case, it commits the data automatically. So you don't need to, you know, select the right now option. Okay. So, you know, we will be doing a lot of scenarios by using the obj save. So, you know, we'll explain later. This is clear so far. So now, so how to execute this activity is, so go to the actions. Okay. And run it. And click on run. So the operation completed successfully, right? So now go to the database table, means data class. There is that. And refresh it and you will see the data. Do you see that? Okay. So we are, you know, doing through activity. And so how the, you know, work object details are getting stored is, so internally there are, you know, out of the box activities. So those are being executed and those are taken care of saving the data. Okay. So now, so what we do is, so this we have hard coded it, right? So whenever this activity is executed, the same data is going to be stored. Okay. So if we invoke in the flow, so we can capture this data dynamically. So on the UI, we have already first name, last name properties, and whatever the data we enter here. So those data should be stored in the customer details class. Okay. So anyhow, it is storing in the work object table, but also we are storing in the separate table. Okay. So in that case, so we should not hard code the values, right? And we need to capture dynamically. So UI data is getting stored on which page? Yes, PY workplace, right?
PY
And
workplace,
so here instead of, let's say, hard coding the value, you can put PY workplace dot first name. So whatever the value we have for the first name of PY workplace, that value will be assigned to this property in the runtime. So it's a property's value, right? That means if we specify the property, that property value will be assigned to this property. That you need to understand. Here. So now, so before we are invoking this activity in the flow, so here we have a debugging tool called Tracer. So by using that, so we can see the step-by-step execution process. Okay. So have you observed the clipboard? No, right? So okay, let's execute again. So if you go to the clipboard, you will see the page customer details. So which will be part of user pages. So whatever, so if you create a page by using the page new method, that page will be available under user pages category. So where PY work page is available. Okay. So now, so these pages will be displayed in the alphabetic order, and you see the page called, customer details, right? And this customer details is created by referring to the corresponding class. So now, let's say PY work page, and inside the in the brackets we have a class work class. That means PY work page is created by referring to the work. So here customer details is created by referring to that corresponding class. So now if you click on customer details, you will see all the data. Clear? So this is final result of this activity. So now let's assume that so we have 10 different methods, and so if you want see the step-by-step execution process, or let's say somewhere it is throwing an error. Okay. And so if you check step by step, so if you design time, errors are different from runtime, right? So here, like so if you use the property set and if you are not assigning even one value, so it will throw an error. Because so if you use the property set, that means you are assigning the values to the properties. At least you need to put one value to the property. Okay, that is the design time error. So if you save it, so it will throw a message. But runtime errors could be different. So either it it is because of the data, or syntax issues, or some other issues. Okay, so if you want to know those errors, so we can know by using the debugging tool called Tracer. Okay. So by using the tracer, so we can see the step-by-step execution process, and let's say out of those 10 steps, and some step is getting failed, let's say 9th step, and in the tracer it will show the status fail against that particular step, so that we can go to that step and we can rectify it. Okay. So now before we are going to use the tracer, so we need to do some settings here. So click on the tracer and go to the settings. Okay. And so here, so activities and so some other rules are there, right? So these are, enabled by default. Okay, that means activities will be traced always. And so if you want to trace another kind of rules, and you need to enable this. And so currently we are, tracing only activities, right? So we don't need to enable this. And here, so these are all what? These are all rule sets. Okay, so all of OOTP rules, Pega rules available in Pega rule sets, and our rules will be available in our rule sets. So now currently we are tracing our rules, so we don't need to enable out of the box rule sets. Okay, so even if we enable, nothing will happen, but like, so lot of rules will be executed. So when you click on submit button, or when you launch the flow, multiple steps will be traced, thousands of steps, because internally those related rules will be executed and those will be traced. In some cases, let's say if you want to trace out of the box rules, how it is processing and all, so we can enable it. So as of now, so you deselect all and select only our rule sets, which contains PNC, because our rules are getting stored in our rule sets only. Okay, click on OK. So now go to the actions. So before click on run, before executing this activity, there is some tracer issue in the Chrome. Let me log off and log in back. Okay, so go to the actions, run it. So before executing this activity, we need to open the tracer. Okay, so click on trace. So now tracer is active and running. So sometimes, let's say if you want to pause it, so you can pause and again you can play it. Okay, so now if you execute, if you click on run, so those activity related steps will be captured here. Okay, so now, so pause it and see how many steps are there in the activity. Three steps, right? So you see the step one started and step one finished here. Step begin, step end, step begin, step end, and status is good. So let's say if it is fail, some of the step is failed due to some reason, and you will see the fail status. Okay, so you are fetching the data based on the primary key from the database, and we do not have the corresponding data available on in the database. So in that case, it will throw an error and status will be fail. Okay, so likewise, so you can see the step-by-step execution process. So after executing the first step, page new, what will happen? So a page will be created on the clipboard. So at the time of first step, execution, you will not have any data available. So now, if you click here, the customer details. So do you see any data here? No, right? But the clipboard is different. So you will see the final result there. So if you go to the clipboard, so now you will see all the data. But here, step by step. Okay. So after executing the second step, you see the data. So because by using the second step, so we assign the values to the properties, we see that data on the second step. Okay, but before executing the second step, do you see the data at the time of begin? No, right? So once the step is executed successfully, you will see that corresponding data. So now, okay, so but here, so whether you select the OBJ save right now, that right now option or not, you will not see any difference. But if you do not select the right now option, the data will not be stored. It will not throw an error in this case. Okay. So now let's see without selecting the right now. So what you can do is So you put another customer ID, let's say C-2, and deselect the right now checkbox and execute this and see whether the data is getting inserted or not. So it will not be. Okay, clear? So put it in tracer. So tracer is one of the debugging tool by using which we can trace most of the PRPC rules. So we cannot trace few rules, those can be traced by using other rules. Any questions so far?
So the rule is the child class of base class.
Which one?
Rule.
Not getting.
Rule.
Yeah, so
So
this
for
is rule, right?
yeah, this is a rule. So activity inherits from object and object inherits from rule. So rule inherits from.
See here. So here, the technical is a rule category, activity is a rule type, and this is the rule, or we say it rule instance. I'm not getting what you are asking.
No, what I'm trying. So rule. What is the parent class of rule?
Parent class of rule. So we have a class called rule dash also. All the rule types are deriving from top level class rule dash, and that rule dash parent will be @ base class again.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Got it.
See, now we are saying that rule dash obj dash property, rule dash obj dash flow action, rule dash obj dash flow. That means the class is starting with rule dash, right? So rule dash is also a class. Okay. So it's like work dash, data dash, rule dash, index dash, like. So in the documents of which I shared you, the first week documents where you can find all the rules, all the top level classes. Okay. So now
Bhaiya,
in the next
what is rule engine?
rule.
Rule engine.
So the rule engine contains all the rules here. So so this is equal. BPM is the combination of BRE plus UI. So business logic, everything is comes under rule engine. So this is the rule based engine, we can say that. Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and we have a user interface rules, right? So UI plus engine is equivalent to BPM.
Okay.
Okay. So now, so here, instead of hard coding it, so we can capture the data dynamically. So in order to do that, so what we need to do is, so we need to invoke this activity in the flow. Okay. So everything will be part of flow only. So in order to invoke this activity in the flow, so we have a lot of options. Okay. So one way is, so we have a flow action, right? So if we expand the process, so we created a flow action called customer details, and inside the flow action, so we have an option to invoke activity. So we created activity, and here we can invoke or in the post processing. So you see pre-processing, post processing. Okay, that means, so we have a flow called customer details, which contains only one assignment. So we have a start shape and we have a end shape and one assignment, right? And so here we invoked a flow action called customer details. Okay, and we can call an activity in the pre-processing of the customer details flow action or post-processing of that. Okay, so if we invoke in the pre-processing, what will happen is, let's say I invoked an activity in the pre-processing. Okay. So now that activity will be executed, that rule will be executed at the time of opening the screen. So by the time you see that, user interface, that activity is already executed. Okay. So if you invoke in the post processing, so once you click on the submit button, then only the activity will be executed. Clear? So if you execute in the pre-processing, so before, at the time of opening the screen, that activity will be executed. If we invoke in the post processing, once you click on the submit, then only that activity will be executed. Clear? So now, so when we enter the data after opening the screen only, right? So after opening the screen, we enter the data, and when we click on the submit, this data will be posted to the clipboard. So if that activity executes, that activity can take the data from PY workspace. If you call in the pre-processing, it will not work. It cannot take the data from PY workspace because at the time of execution, you will not have data available on clipboard. Okay. So now where we need to call this activity if we want to pass the data dynamically? Obviously, post processing. Okay. Yeah. But so here we have only few properties, right? So let's call all other properties. So this is opened by some other operator, right? Just give me 1 second. PNC develop. So we see, so we don't see the checkout option, right? That means either it is opened by another operator or the rule set is locked. So this operator is working on the rule. So let's call other properties as well. Okay, so this operator is checked in back. So now if we refresh the section, you will see the latest updates. Okay, latest version. Okay, so now let's refresh this work object form. You will see all the properties, updated properties. Okay, so now, so our requirement is, so we need to take the first name, last name, age, gender from the work page, right? So this data will be available on work page and we need to map that page to here. Okay, and so we have a primary key, right? So we have already seed as 1. So if you add code this again, that update, just existing record will be updated. It will not insert a new record. So what we can do is, so can't we assign the primary key of PY workpage? So we can take that and we can assign it, right? So that also will be the unique. Okay. So now, so we are taking the details from PY workpage. So we need to define that page by referring to that particular class, related class. Okay, clear? So since we are taking the data from PY workpage, we need to define that page also under pages and classes. and this is referring to work class. This page, do we need to create here? No, right? Because that page is getting created automatically. So we have, we'll have that page available on the clipboard. Just we need to take the details and assign it to these properties. So now I don't put seed as 1, and I will take the PYID of PY workpage. So whatever the PYID is there, that will be assigned to customer ID property. Similarly, PY workpage dot first name will be assigned to the customer name, and here this you can put, because so if you create an email property and you enter the data, that will be also that will be assigned to this property. For that, like, you need to put py workpage dot email. Okay, so since we don't have that property, this value I'm hard coding it, and so this will be py workpage dot gender, and similarly, so py workpage dot age. And since we are invoking in the flow, so we don't need to enable this. We should not. So I will tell you so why we should not select this if you are invoking in the flow. Okay, check in it. Right. So now go to the flow action and invoke in the post processing of this flow action. So before doing any changes, you need to check out. Okay, and invoke the rule. So we created an activity in the work class, and we can call it. So list of activities will be available here. Okay, and save it and check in the rule, and you need to provide the proper comment. So invoke activity in the post processing. Okay, so now let's execute the flow. Okay, so when you execute a flow, so this activity will be executed when you click on the submit. So now can't we trace this activity? So before submitting it, you open the tracer, and you will see that activity steps on the tracer. So if you click on submit, it will be completed. So activity also will be executed. After that, you cannot trace it. You cannot see anything. So, but you can see the final result in the database on the clipboard. Okay. So now before clicking on the submit, you need to open the tracer, right? So you enter the data. Let's say put Karthik. Okay. So you can do that. So there is again, so if you log off and log in back, it will work. And let's click on submit. Okay. So you trace that, okay? And so now go to the clipboard. So on the PY work page, you will see whatever the data you enter. Okay. So first name, last name, and all. And you will see the page called one more page, that is, what is the page we specified in the activity? Customer details, right? So customer details also will be available. So now see, since we assign work page properties to these properties, you see, same work object ID, first name, last name, so everything you see on this page, right? And these details will be available in which class? Data class, right? Obviously. So go to the customer details. Okay, let me reopen. You can open from different places. So So now see one more record, right? So when you double click on this, you will see that, or right click on this, create properties, go to the records, you see that. So this we inserted dynamically. Okay. So now again, if we execute a flow with a different data, again that data will be stored here. Clear? So this is how we insert the data into the database table.
So whenever we are updating the even PNC loans work, it can also be updated in
Yeah, because we are handling that, right, through activity. Okay. So since we put the logic in the activity, so every time when you execute a flow and submit it, that activity will be executed, and that will take care of inserting the data into this class. Okay, but the same data will be available in work class table also. That is handled by PRPC. Okay, so this is the one way, right? So we are storing from UI to database, and in the next class, so we retrieve the data back to the database. Sorry, user interface from the database to UI.
one question. When you already have data and when we already can record this data in work class,
Yeah.
so why are we using this data?
Yeah, that's what so there are few reasons. So one is you need to know about the methods, how it works, and for tracking purpose or for reporting purpose, so we use this table. Okay, so generally it is not required. So but so we write the complete logic, business logic, by using activity methods only. Okay, so so most of the times we use page news, property set, obj methods and all, and you need to know how these methods works. So later, if you want to assign some values to the properties, so you should be able to choose the property set method. Okay, clear?
Satya, one doubt.
Yeah.
While invoking flow, why we have unchecked that option, right? Right
Yes.
now. So what was the reason?
So because when you click on the submit, so the commit operations will be handled by PRPC. So
Okay.
now you see the work of the data is getting stored in the database table, right? So that means internally the PRPC is committing the data. So if you execute, if you invoke the activities which contains the obj save, those data also will be committed. So again, you don't need to put, write no option or commit method. Okay. So if you put there, sometimes there will be some database conflicts and it will throw some issues.
Okay, so if we are invoking the activity independently, we'll have to check that option. Otherwise,
Yeah,
no.
in the service related rules where flow is not involving, in those cases we need to enable that. Okay.
Okay.
So we'll be creating lot of activities. Okay, you don't need to worry. So initially it will be little difficult to understand. This is the and the terminology also will be different, right? So so once you start practicing, you will understand. Okay.
Satya, if in case in the project like this that there is no UI, is this a chance to see it's like as a flow?
Yeah, sometimes in most of the applications you will have the UI. In some applications, you do not have only. If you need to handle the business logic, yes. So you need to handle through activities one. So activities are very important.
Okay, okay.
So tomorrow
Even
we'll
with
be working on some other method.
okay,
Yeah.
Satya. Even without the UI also we can able to
Yes,
work.
obviously. So everything. So in that case, we need to handle most of the
Activities.
automation process through activity one.
Okay, okay, Satya.
Okay. So automation in the sense here, so I want to send an email to the customers on daily basis. So it doesn't require human intervention, right?
Yeah, yeah.
So we need to build that logic, and so that will take care of sending an email. So you don't need to log into the application, and you need to do manually.
Okay,
Okay.
through agents we can able to do like
Yes.
that. Okay, okay.
But mainly so we need to handle the complete logic in the activity one.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay, Satish. Yeah,
So
got it.
that's it for today. So we'll continue tomorrow. Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you, Satish.
Satya, one question. If I want to check operator email ID is stored in which column of the database?
Yeah, we'll
Okay.
see that. Like we'll be doing those scenarios also. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, Satish.